First Things First is sponsored by Ram Trucks, built to serve.
First things first, earmuffs, Nick. Are the Brooklyn Nets actually the NBA's best team right now? What is San Francisco's ceiling with Jimmy G under center? And how much longer will Tom Brady's Super Bowl window be open? With that, we say good Thursday morning, everyone. Jenna Wolf alongside Nick Wright, Brandon Marshall, as we welcome back BK Man, Kevin Wilds. It is
Look
lovely
who's here.
to have you back, sir. You have been missed.
Full of enthusiasm and antibodies. Let's go.
That's all we can ask for on a Thursday morning. We'll get to all that football business in just a second. But my friend, Nick Wright, we got to start with the Lakers. Lakers played the best team in the NBA last night, and it wasn't themselves, Nick. Lakers taking on the Jazz. If you got kids, send them out of the room because this was not pretty. Wasn't great. No Anthony Davis, no Dennis Schroeder. So no way they were going to stop the Jazz, who are red hot these days. Utah wins by 25 points. So you got this Laker team. They've lost 4 in a row. You got a Laker team that's lost 5 of their last 6. How worried do you think LeBron James actually is? I'm going to give you a hint. Not very. Take a listen.
It's challenging for all of us, especially some of our young guys, some of our guys that haven't been in this position before, where they need to do a little bit more than, what they're asked in a normal situation. Everyone's, just speaking about AD, and obviously that's a big hit, but we also haven't had Dennis along the stretch for a few games too. He's a big piece of our puzzle as well. So, and everyone has been put in positions that they, wouldn't be put in under normal circumstances. But, it's always about staying confident, continue to give my teammates the courage and the confidence out there on the floor and to make plays. And, it's a tough stretch for us, but, if, this won't define who we will be for the rest of the season and for the long haul, that's for sure.
LeBron James with the old crossbody fanny pack. Nick, should we be giving credit to this Utah team for their 25-point win, or do we criticize the Lakers for their 4th straight loss?
Well, let's do both, and let's do both within reason. First of all, I do want to give credit to the Jazz. They are currently the best team in the NBA. They're the hottest team in the NBA. If you're a gambler, they have been a godsend. They are 20-3 against the spread in their last 23 games. And all of those accolades should be mentioned at the end of the season when they have a nice little party alongside the 2015 Hawks and the 2018 Raptors and the 2019 Bucks of awesome regular season teams that have a 0% chance to win the title. So it's a nice accomplishment. It's a well-rounded roster. Good job by everyone involved. And their season will end in probably the second round of the playoffs. Now to the Lakers. This Laker team reminds me of somebody. The Laker team LeBron was on his first year with the Lakers. Pretty good on defense most nights. Can't hit a shot to save their lives. And if LeBron isn't excellent, and last night he was far, far from excellent, they're going to struggle to beat anybody. Because this, without Anthony Davis, and Schroeder's important as well, but he's obviously not the level of Anthony Davis, this team is a lot like that Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, Kyle Kuzma Laker team alongside LeBron. So if this is the Laker team that shows up in the playoffs, if Schroeder takes a sabbatical and AD never comes back, they're screwed. It's not going to be the Laker team that shows up in the playoffs. So no, Jenna, for the 19th consecutive year, I am not concerned about a LeBron James team having a swoon shortly before the All-Star break, Brandon.
Nick, man, I go back a month ago. There was an interesting moment on television, an awkward moment on television. Shaquille O'Neal, Donovan Mitchell, remember that? Donovan Mitchell had his headphones on, listening to Shaq from the studio. Shaq says, man, I told everybody tonight on the broadcast that, you're one of my favorite players, but you just can't get to the next level. And since that moment, these boys been on fire. So, Jenna, you got to give all the credit to the Utah Jazz because the easier conversation is that the Lakers are struggling. The Lakers don't have AD. We know that. This is expected. When you don't have Schroeder and AD, you're going to struggle. Now, Nick, you talk a lot about defense. I'm a guy that says, the modern NBA is about pickup basketball. Nobody plays defense. But come on, man, if you guys are going to say that we're going to be a defensive team, that's effort. You don't need AD. Schroeder is not known for defense. You guys get blown out by 25 points. That's a problem. It seems like you guys might be tired. Seems like LeBron may be tired. You know, how do you go from 40% shooting 40% from three to 20% from the three-point line? It says you don't have any legs. So, Wilds, welcome back. Sorry to throw you right into this chaos, but there's a huge problem in LA. But, you know, this Utah team is phenomenal.
No, the Utah team is really good. I'm not worried about the Lakers. I'm a little bit more worried than Nick, who has not a worry bone in his body. Because, Nick, I think the Lakers are in this rare situation. You have, like, win-win situations. You have lose-lose situations. And the Lakers have the very rare lose-win situations. After the game, Markieff Morris like, you know what? This is actually probably good for us. Hey, if you ask me, we need it. You never know with the injuries. You never know in the playoffs. You just never know. We need these challenging times to find out really who we are. Then LeBron's like, you know what? My old buddy Markieff Morris is right for us. Going through this right now, I think it's going to benefit our team tremendously. And then, Brandon, you mentioned, so how does it benefit the team, Nick? Maybe LeBron's not this great reincarnation of Ray Allen that we were ready to print up a new line on his Wikipedia page, Nick. He's shooting really bad. I don't think it's being tired, Brandon. I actually think he's just kind of forcing shots. Or, Nick, maybe he's just not a good three-point shooter and we were all very too early on this.
All been duped.
Yeah, or maybe this is another thing that we have seen previously, which is, I'll go to his last year in Cleveland. Another year, by the way, he played all 82. And the reason I go to that year is prior to this season, it was his single best high-volume shooting season of the year. And look at his month-by-month splits. He finished the season, I think, shooting 36, 37% from three, but there was no month where he shot 36, 37% from three. It was 3 months where he shot 40%, and 1 month, it happened to be January, which would be January, this would be January on normal schedule, where he shot 22%. This is a trend for LeBron. He gets hot for 8 games from three, and he's ice cold for 5 or 10 games from three. So he's not a 41% three-point shooter. He never was. But he's also obviously not a 19% three-point shooter. But I want to circle back to the Jazz quickly because, Brandon, I think we agree on this. Everyone's going to be on television this week giving the Jazz their flowers, and good for them. And they deserve them because they've earned it. I'm very curious to see if anyone actually is going to back that up with, and I think they can win the title because I don't think anybody does. I think that everyone that's going to be like, good for the Jazz. We're so happy for you. Quinn Snyder, Donovan Mitchell, put respect on his name. The Stifle Tower. Do you see Jordan Clarkson with the ultimate green light? I think all of them are like, and here are 6 teams I would pick over them to win the title. And I really think it is 6 teams that people are going to have more confidence in going into the playoffs. No. So I do think, Brandon, both LA teams.
Just 2.
Both LA teams.
No. That's it. Done. Your list is done. That's it.
No, in the East. In the East. We got to go to the East. I'm talking about
the win the title. Oh, to win a title.
Yeah. And to win the title. Yes. So now we can get to at least 5 and probably 6 and in a couple weeks 7. So good for the Jazz. It's adorable. You're playing great. No one thinks you can win a championship. 0 people believe that, Jen.
So in my never-ending quest to find out if Nick is worried about LeBron and the Lakers, it is once again not even a little bit. Time for a little drawing a blank. Yesterday we were talking about whether Devin Booker got snubbed not being named an All-Star. Turns out, no snub. Anthony Davis was ruled out of the game, so AD out, Devin Booker in. Little replacement action. Brandon, Booker replacing AD in the All-Star game is blank.
Oh my goodness! I mean, this should have happened before. I mean, this is a non-story. I mean, it's terrible. It reminds me of my times at the Pro Bowl. Pro Bowl, you have this big moment. They say, hey, these are the guys that got voted in. And then you say, well, Larry Fitzgerald just opted out. So then they call the guys that was waiting. And then when he walks into the locker room, be like, oh, that guy's coming in? Man, you didn't earn that. So it's a big deal because Devin Booker should have been voted in from the get-go.
Well, here's the thing. The NBA Wilds, I really do think 5 starters from the East, 5 starters from the West, and then the next best, what would that be, 14 guys? Because Booker, I don't think Booker got snubbed because the West is so deep, but to have Booker have to be an injury replacement and Vucevic and Tatum, who's on a sub-500 team, and those guys just be in with the coaches, that I'm not a fan of. So Booker should have been there already, Wilds.
But then how does the game actually work, Nick? If you just have like a bunch of guys from the West, are you still playing
Well, you're
East-West?
picking teams anyway.
You're picking the teams. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I've been out.
Come on, Wilds.
Sorry, I forgot.
Too long. All right, we take a turn, talk some Tom Brady. So Tom Brady wants to play till he's 45. The Bucs are like, why stop there? Let's keep going. Should the Bucs allow Brady to dictate his football future? That's next. First things first.